Hello and hello. In this lesson, you will learn about for loops. A for loop is a control flow statement that allows a specific block of code to run repeatedly for a certain number of iterations. In the real world, for loops are most often used to iterate through data. For example, if one desires to turn on all the street lamps in the city, one could use a for loop to iterate through them and illuminate them sequentially. Here's how a for loop looks like in Python. So let's create a list called nums. And we'll go for j in nums and print out this j. So let's print it. In this example, we are iterating through each element in our custom list and printing out that element. We declare a new variable called j right over here that is only accessible within our for loop code block, which is the indented part over here. So in this case, our for loop code block is just a print statement. For each iteration, our j variable takes the value of the end element in the list. Once all of the elements have been iterated through, the loop ends, allowing the rest of the code outside of the loop to be executed. So by printing a statement outside of the code block, such as here, I am done. When we rerun it, we can see we go through our entire list, and then, only then, we will print out I am done. Of course, one can make the contents of the for loop as complex as desired by adding nested statements. For example, we can add nested statement inside right here, and we can make an if statement as such. If j is equal to 2, for instance, print j is 2, for an example. So if we run it, we can see this will only be executed when j is actually 2, of course. When it comes to iterating through data, the range and length keywords are very useful. Range allows users to generate a series of numbers within a given range. In our example, it will stop before 4, hence printing out 0 to 3. On the other hand, length simply returns the length of a variable. In this case, the length of a list is 4 since it has 4 elements, right? So for q in range length nums, and here we can see if we print out the exact same thing, it should give us an identical output, right? So in other words, for simplicity, if we simply print out the length of our nums list over here and comment out the rest of this code, we will be able to see clearly exactly how long our list is, right? And this indicates how many items it has. Another important element for iterating data is using the enumerate function. This enumerate function assigns an index to each item in an iterable object, like our list, that can be used to reference the item later. So essentially, it makes it easier to keep track of the content of an iterable object. So here's an example. For index element in enumerate, and we'll use our list. And here we can simply print out what's going on. So index is, and the element at this index is this. And notice we're using special curly brackets here to make our string print statement much more clear. And we'll pass our element here, which is index and element, right? So upon running it, we can see that it actually gives us a variable which we declare ourselves, and we're naming it index in this case, and it's telling us that it's 0, since simply enumerating it, so it will increment it from 0 onwards. And the element of this index is 2, since that's exactly what our element is, right? And it does this for all of the items in our list. Now, this is super duper useful because it gives us more control over our iterations. And when you work with more complex code, then this really comes into play. And just like that, you are now familiar with for loops. This means that you are now capable of iterating through large data sets in a very efficient manner. Great work! In the next lesson, you will learn about another key loop, the while loop.